On the show, have you noticed a trend of nationalist narratives in Indian cinema? We talk about that. Get to know about the One Nation, One Challan initiative that seeks to bring all traffic-linked agencies under one umbrella. Government's increased focus on food security amid heat wave. Stocking of wheat, rice and millet is on. Fishermen in Sri Lanka oppose government's plan to allow Indian fishermen to access Sri Lankan waters. And India celebrates the Festival of Colours with full fervour and zeal. This and more, Top Angle starts right here, right now. Well, News 9 wishes all its viewers a very happy Holi. May this Festival of Colours bring joy and prosperity to you and your family. Starting the show with something unique. If you're one for the occasional multi-screen jaunt, or perhaps see yourself as a connoisseur of cinema, you may have noticed a distinct trend. Nationalist narrative in film, or to be specific, films that align with Hindutva ideology, which the BJP and the RSS staunchly observe. Filmmakers have increasingly shifted focus to projects that either present the party's nationalist ideology or depict the life and times of its icons. In 2024, as the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh celebrates its 100th year, many production houses have lined up films that push a certain cultural and political agenda. A biopic on the RSS founder, titled Dr. Heatwave, is scheduled to release this Dussehra. Next is the film Main Deen Dayal Hoon, based on the life of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay. We will then have the movie Swatantra Veer Savarkar, co-produced by Sandeep Singh, known for producing movies like Mary Kom and Vivek Oberoi starrer PM Narendra Modi. Main Atal Hoon, starring Pankaj Tripathi as the stalwart late Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. It is scheduled for release in December of 2023. And Akshay Kumar starrer Samrat Prithviraj, produced by industry behemoth Yash Raj Films. Now, mainstream cinema up until now had mostly focused on themes centered around secular India. The dominant ideology in the film mainly concerned itself with left-leaning narratives. But with Hindutva nationalism taking center stage, that ideology has taken a 180-degree turn. Among the most notable of films that espoused these narratives was The Kashmir Files, a movie which showed the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits from the valley following the unrest in the 1990s. It became one of the highest-grossing films in the country last year. It was even made tax-free by the government in 6 BJP-ruled states. Well, like most art forms, cinema is a reflection of society, but it is debatable whether films have any real influence on the society itself. Though, one thing which is undeniable is the soft power that cinema has. It thus makes political sense to use that soft power even in a more direct fashion like the BJP and the RSS to create favorable narratives before the 2024 polls. Moving on, the Ministry of Road, Transport and Highways has launched its One Nation, One Challan initiative. It seeks to bring all agencies linked to traffic violations, including the traffic police and the regional transport office, onto one platform. Now, this integrated system works by detecting offences through the CCTV network and using applications like Vahan and Sarathi to determine the registration number of the vehicle. An e-challan is then generated with the appropriate penalty amount and sent to the mobile number linked to that particular vehicle. As of January 16, 2023, the initiative has been implemented in 3 commissionerate areas in Gujarat, Ahmedabad, Rajkot and Surat, with Vadodara soon to follow. So how does it work? Using the National Informatics Center, the Ahmedabad police can now access vehicle registration numbers and related data of people who are caught violating traffic regulations on CCTV, even if they are from another state. Challans will then be sent directly to the mobile number provided at the time of the vehicle's registration. If the offender does not pay the challan within 90 days, the case will be forwarded to a virtual court and summons will be sent to the offender's mobile phone. If the fine is not paid, further legal proceedings will follow. To implement this, one court has been appointed as a virtual court for the state of Gujarat, Court number 16 of Ahmedabad City Sessions Court. This court will handle the One Nation, One Challan cases. Now, for a country as big as India and over 1.5 lakh people dying every year in road accidents, One Nation, One Challan can surely work as a deterrent for erring drivers and bring the offenders to book sooner. Next up, With the onset of an early summer and the forecast of a heat wave across India, the government is taking early steps to meet the country's food security needs. Heat wave is expected to potentially impact the wheat harvest this year. After recording the hottest February months in years, India is likely to experience heat waves between March and May, as predicted by the Weather Department. And this especially in the key wheat-producing central and northern states. As an alternative, the government is now securing enough rice and millet stock to meet the country's food security needs. Last year's heat wave cut wheat output by about 2.5% to 106 million tons, leading government's wheat purchase going down by nearly 58% at 18 million tons. This year, it aims to procure 34 million tons of wheat at federally determined prices, even if heat impacts the output. Now, excess heat will definitely cut wheat yields. But this year, the government is not going to solely rely on the crop for its food security program. It therefore plans to carefully allocate rice, wheat, and even millets so that it can provide free grains for 800 million people. This year, till the 1st of March, government has already bought 71 million ton of paddy. In addition, India has decided not to reopen wheat export or remove curbs on overseas rice sale. Meanwhile, to control rising cereal prices, the centre has decided that the Food Corporation of India will sell 5 million tons in the market through e-auctions. And let's take a look at this as well. Northern fishermen in Sri Lanka are vehemently opposed to the government's plan to allow Indian fishermen to access Sri Lankan waters. They consider this a major setback to their long-standing struggle of over 15 years. Sri Lanka alleges that Indian fishermen use illegal fishing techniques and are damaging the aquatic habitat. This has caused physical skirmishes and detentions of both sides, thus highlighting the magnitude of the dispute. So what are the issues that Sri Lanka faces and why are the fishermen opposed to it? The proliferation of trawlers in Pork Bay has caused irreparable damage to the marine ecosystem in Sri Lankan waters. In the past, the lack of tight maritime boundaries allowed Indian fishermen to take advantage of the civil war in Sri Lanka and access its waters with ease. However, with the end of the civil war in 2009, Indian fishermen were increasingly subjected to arrests and attacks. This was done due to the depletion of fish stocks on the Indian side. One more contentious issue is the rights over Kachathivu Island since 1974. Tamil fishermen have been entering Sri Lankan waters near Kachathivu Island, where they had been fishing for centuries. In that year, the island was ceded to Sri Lanka after an agreement was signed between the two countries without consulting the Tamil Nadu government. While the agreement allows Indian fishermen certain privileges, such as access for rest, for drying of nets, and for the annual St. Anthony's festival, it does not guarantee their traditional fishing rights. Sri Lanka has also increased the fine on Indian vessels found fishing in Sri Lankan waters to discourage them. And India is celebrating the Festival of Colours with full fervour and zeal. Home to diverse cultures, India celebrates the festival with different customs throughout the country. Widows of Vrindavan playing Holi is one of the most unique visual delights. Defying the age-old stigma, the otherwise white sari-clad women can be seen playing with colours, smearing gulal on each other's faces. And who can forget the famous Mathura's Latmar Holi, where women playfully hit men with wooden sticks. Foreigners too were seen partaking in this unique experience. Celebrations from the famous Banke Bihari temple in Vrindavan and Sri Mahakaleshwar temple in Ujjain are a sight to behold. Foreign tourists in large numbers throng these two cities for that surreal first-hand experience of diverse Indian customs and traditions. Well, on that colorful note, it's the end of this edition of Top Angle. Do check out incisive news analysis and cutting-edge documentaries streaming only on News 9. Thanks for watching.